BF M27 said Thailand is meant for boys-only trip, F26. While talking in general, traveling came up. BF said how wants to visit Thailand, and I replied, well, we can plan a trip and visit then. He immediately responded, EW, who in their right mind would visit Thailand with their GF? I'll only visit with my boys and plan a boys' trip. Before I could process it, the topic shifted to something else. And I didn't know what he completely meant then and brushed it off. It was only now I came to know that Thailand is really famous for its sex hub and stuff. Connecting the dots with boys-only trip, I feel absolutely disgusted at my BF's response. If I bring this up, maybe he'll respond with, I was kidding. But how can someone joke about this to their GF? Even if he really did just joke, I can't seem to digest it. Are there healthy men in relationships that talk or feel this way? Even if he was kidding, what would be a healthy response if I bring this up to him? He said the quiet part out loud. Check his internet history. I guarantee he's watching passport bros bragging about slaying prostitutes abroad. Boys and lots of men visit Thailand for a sexual escapade for lots of massages with happy endings and such shit. It's fairly well known, you even have some YouTubers going around getting shaves and ASMR-type massages, though they clip out the happy ending bits. If your boyfriend wants to plan a trip, with the boy, to Thailand, be sure he will 100% be cheating on you. The fact he frigging joked about this means he is testing the waters of your stupidity or naivety, and what he may be able to get away with. You know what he meant. Don't give him a chance to gaslight you. He wants to go bang hookers. Break up with him, so he doesn't do it behind your back and being STDs back to share with you. I would break up with him immediately. Not only he is determined to have sex with other women or whatever, but also you have a great chance getting STD from him if you keep seeing him. He definitely wants to fuck a ladyboy. How long should my husband, 34M, and I, 32F, wait to announce our pregnancy to his family? My husband Mark and I have 2 kids, a 2-year-old boy and a 1-year-old girl. They were the first grandchildren on both sides of the family, so they've been very thoroughly fawned over by everyone. Mark's cousin Jacob, 28M, just had a baby with his wife Macy, 27F, earlier this week. Not even kidding, the day after the new baby was born, I found out that I was pregnant with our 3rd child. It was not a planned pregnancy, both previous pregnancies were planned. But after talking it over we decided to keep the baby. Now I'm feeling unsure about when to tell Mark's side of the family, because I don't want to take attention away from Jacob and Macy. They were nothing but supportive of Mark and me, and doted on both of our kids when they were born, and they deserve to have that same experience from the family. So I want to give the family time to relish in the new baby love before I start telling them that I'm pregnant again and risk taking some of the attention away from them. But I also don't want to wait so long that Mark's family feels left out or like they were the last to find out about something so big. This is something they've been sensitive about in the past. When should we announce our pregnancy to my husband's family, so we're not upsetting anyone? After the holidays. Give them time to celebrate the baby's first holidays before you announce. Do people not wait to make pregnancy announcements anymore? You just found out. Why don't you and your husband enjoy your news privately for a while? 3 months in is reasonable. At least 12 weeks. Then tell Mark's cousin and his wife first. After that then his family. Give it like 3-4 months. Pregnancy is more likely to be viable, and they'll be just coming out of that early surviving an infant stage. I think by kid 3, you don't need a super big formal announcement. You can just mention it whenever, like it's not a huge deal a 3rd time. Exciting, yes, but why the need to make it a big thing? Wait until after the new year. Am I a shitty person for considering leaving my 27 female, husband 29 male, of 8 months? I'm sorry this is long. I'm not very good at summing things up. Just looking for some insight/opinions from people not directly connected to the situation. My 27 female, now husband 29 male, and I have been together for 8 years, married for 8 months. We met when we were 19 and 20. We've gone through many different life stages together, going to university in different cities, changing jobs, moving out, starting careers, etc. My now husband has always struggled with drinking. Relapsed a few times, I know, normal. But trust is broken when I find out he's hiding it from me. He has a habit of not taking jobs seriously. When he finally was hired into a management position in the field he went to school for, he constantly talks about how much he hates 9-5, and how he basically does 2 hours of work a day, but gets paid for a full day. I tried suggesting he change career paths if he is that unhappy, and maybe he can find something more fulfilling, but he will not consider it. We moved cities a couple years after COVID. My now husband starts drinking more heavily. It starts affecting our relationship and financial situation. I try to speak to him about this on several occasions, and he is unwilling to have a conversation. He just tells me he will deal with it on his own. Months go by, and I start losing patience. I try to offer resources and make him realize that this is not just affecting him, but it is putting a strain on our relationship. He agrees to speak to a couples counselor. We have one session, and afterwards he says it didn't help and does not want to book another. I try to explain that therapy often needs multiple sessions to start seeing any changes. He still refuses and says he will deal with it. He gets sober. He is sober for 6 months. Our wedding date is set for the next year, and we have planned a combined bachelor/bachelorette party. He says he will drink at the party, but otherwise he is staying sober. I voice to him how I don't think that's the best idea, but he will not hear it. Following the party, he tells me he is sober again. I am led to believe he was sober up until our wedding. We get married. We come back from our wedding, it was in a different city, and immediately he falls into a serious bout of depression. He's unable to get out of bed, has a serious lack of motivation, and is avoiding me. I suggest therapy or seeing a doctor to see if we can find him some support, as I can see he is struggling. He refuses, states he doesn't think either of those work. We move apartments, in same building, a few weeks later. He is nowhere to be found. I do the entire move on my own, with some help from friends for big furniture items. The following month he starts to get better, but only after I sob to him about how I can't continue to live with a partner who is not acting like a partner. We have a month of close to normalcy. The following month I find empty cans of alcohol stashed around the house. I confront him, and he says he has been struggling again and that he lied to me prior to the wedding, and he was never actually sober. This breaks my trust that was already pretty broken from previous situations similar to this. I again try to recommend some resources. He goes to one AA meeting and says he hates it and will never go back. I try to suggest some other options and am met with refusals to consider any of them. He eventually starts acting normally again, showing improvements with his attitude and work ethic. Fast forward to now, a few months later. We have just gotten back from our honeymoon vacation. He got fired the week we got back for doing something very stupid in public while driving a work vehicle. I don't want to go into too much detail, but know that it was idiotic. This is the second time he has been fired from a job right when we got back from a trip. The first time, 3 years ago, when he just didn't finish any of his work prior to leaving, at a job he had very recently started. After getting fired, he reached out to the owner of a small company he is a fan of, looking to see if he could help them with some content. For days after getting fired, he leaves the country to work with this brand for free. There was no discussion with me, just that his flights and meals are being paid for, and he is leaving. He is gone for 5 days. While he is gone, he is texting me, ensuring me he will start looking for work as soon as he is back. I'm not stoked, but okay, sure. He gets back and has not applied for anything since. I have offered to help with his resume, and anything else I can assist with. He refuses my help, and when I try to do it for him, tells me he hates the resume I built. It has been 2.5 weeks. Every day he tells me he will apply for jobs tomorrow, or he will clean the house tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and he leaves the house and avoids me the entire day, and then finally comes home and tells me he is tired and lays in bed. I understand he is struggling and is depressed, but will not look into or take me up on any resources I have offered. He disappears for multiple hours a day, constantly telling me he will be back soon, until soon turns into 5 hours later. He was laid off during COVID as well and lived off EI for 6 months. That is when his first major struggles with alcoholism and depression started. It took him months to be willing to look for another job, and when he did eventually find one, he spent every day complaining about how he hates working. I am emotionally exhausted. I have been carrying most of the emotional weight in our relationship for a very long time, and am always the one left to pick up the pieces when things fall apart. I am always the one who is responsible and will figure out how to get us through situations. But I am tired of never being the one who is being supported. Throughout this all, he constantly tells me he doesn't think I am supportive, and that I should just try being nicer. I admit, I can get a bit snappy when I am frustrated, and the lack of effort in trying to figure out how we are going to pay the bills does frustrate me. I know we've only been married for an extremely short amount of time, but we haven't had longer than a month since we got married where things were normal. Every single month or so there is some new issue where he is going through a depressive episode or having an existential crisis. I try my best to help, but at what point do I stop? It is draining me. Maybe that makes me a bad person, but I can't keep living feeling like I am constantly just waiting for the next shoe to drop. Too long did not read. Husband of 8 months will not look for a new job after getting fired. You ignored every red flag for 7 years and still decided to get married. I think it's time for you to move on. You're not a shitty person, but you have all the signs of a woman who will fall for anything and hold on tight to a cactus. If you don't change yourself, you will fall for the same type of guys over and over again and will ruin your life. Super exhausting. Definitely separate from him ASAP. He needs to do some serious work on himself, and you need to not have to tolerate his behavior. He is neither in recovery, nor is he sober. Relationships rarely survive alcoholism. If they do, they sustain major damage, have little trust, and are generally unhappy. Currently, you don't have children together. That's a good thing. Contact a solicitor and divorce him. Be prepared for threats of suicide. Contact Al-Anon for support. Begin repairing estranged friendships. Consider a change of scene, save up, and go traveling for 6 months. Give your head a wobble. Work through this and lay it to rest. No one can say you're a bad person if you want to leave your husband because you're not happy. It's your life, so you can do whatever you want. You're living it, and your happiness is important. The job market is tough when you're job hunting, but if you're not motivated to look for a job, then that's just bad. It's not selfish, and if you want to leave, now is the time. A lifetime of drinking is not worth wasting on, so talk to a divorce attorney and look at your options. You have wasted 8 years on this loser. Divorce him now and save the rest of your life. I am aware that alcoholism is a disease, but it is one that requires desire to overcome. He will not desire that while you are bailing him out and handling his life. And I would think the constant rescuing has long since destroyed any love you had for him. Cut your losses and let him sink or swim. My girlfriend, 27 female, called me 29 male, cruel when I set a boundary. I've been with my girlfriend for 5 years now. For the most part, things are good in the relationship, but a big problem is our sex life. My girlfriend suffers from depression, and a couple of years ago, she was put on some new meds which have got rid of her sex drive. Our sex life is non-existent now, and we haven't had sex since last June. Last year we had sex twice. We've spoke about it a few times, and she's mentioned wanting me to initiate more, but when I try she just says no. She was having therapy for unrelated reason a couple of months ago. I mentioned to her to ask her therapist what he thinks and get some suggestions from him. She said she doesn't know and that she might. Her therapy has stopped now, and I asked if she brought it up to him, and she said no. I pointed out if she doesn't do anything about the issue, then it's not going to get resolved. I said that sex is a big part of a relationship, and it's not something I'm willing to just go without. I said I understood it's hard, but unless she actually starts putting in some work to resolve our issues, then it would likely mean we'd break up. I mentioned the possibility of talking to her doctor for suggestions, which she refused. I said I understand it takes time, and if she starts making an effort to improve things, then I'll obviously be patient, but if no effort is being made, then we'd break up. She said I was being manipulative, but I just said she can't expect me to stay in a sexless relationship forever while she repeatedly brings up the fact it's an issue, but won't actually do anything about it. Does anyone have any other views on this, or have any advice on how best to approach the situation? Dr. My girlfriend, and I haven't had SEC in a year and a half. She refuses to talk to her doctor or therapist about it, and called me cruel when I said I wouldn't stay in a sexless relationship. Just break up. You couldn't even get a maybe on her starting some sort of effort on her sex drive. Take no for an answer and move on. She is perfectly fine with no sex and no pursuit of sex. You are not. Everything has run its course, and you are only delaying the inevitable. Break up. This is only going to get worse. Not the asshole breakup. You are no longer compatible and way too young to be in a dead bedroom situation. This will get worse with time. Let her find someone else that is also a sexual, and you be with someone that matches your sexual needs. It is 1/3 of a relationship to work. She can have a sexless relationship if she wants, but it's a deal breaker for you. Just break up. When our bedroom died in my 20-year marriage, it was because of all the other issues in the relationship. But I told my husband that was the reason. I told him we needed to address our underlying relationship issues to resolve the bedroom issues. She isn't telling you what the issue is. You aren't asking what the issue is. And this isn't a 20-year marriage. Just break up.